July 1989. The Cold War is reaching its twilight years, but the Black Sea is still a hotbed of tension. NATO is covertly shipping military supplies to support Georgian forces, vital equipment that could alter the balance of power in the region. Those supplies must never reach their destination. A disguised cargo ship is hidden within the convoy, carrying the lifeblood of NATO's operation. Your mission is simple: find it, eliminate it, and cripple NATO's plans. But there is a catch. NATO has positioned frigates and fast attack boats as escorts, waiting for the first sign of an attack. Sailing through international waters, NATO will not engage unless provoked. But once the first shot is fired, all bets are off. You'll be facing heavily armed NATO ships ready to defend their convoy. And there's more. NATO air support could arrive at any moment. Your fleet must stay on high alert. Identify the target before it's too late. A single mistake could lead to a full-scale naval engagement, and the wrong move could mean civilian casualties. But time is running out. You must act before the convoy reaches Georgian waters. This isn't just a mission. It's a race against time. Once the cargo ship is destroyed, NATO's response will be swift and brutal. Your ability to strike and retreat could be the difference between victory and disaster. Find the target, eliminate it, and survive the storm. Hey there and welcome back to Sea Power. Today we are on an important mission over here in the Black Sea. NATO is resupplying Georgia. They're trying to start something in Georgia. If their cargo ship makes it to the Poti port arrival area, that means that NATO has won. There is one cargo ship that we need to eliminate, but this being the Black Sea, there is a bit of traffic. And this means we have to be careful about what we try and engage. Our assets today: Komsomolets, this is a Kashin class destroyer. We also have the R-26, the R-624, and the R-630. These are Nanuchka's RE class missile boats. These guys have the SSN-2C, also known as the Styx, and with that we can hit out to a range of 43 nautical miles. The destroyer over here does also have some weapons that they can use, but they have no ship-to-ship missiles. They do have the SAN-1, which can be used in an anti-surface role, but it's much more viable as an anti-aircraft or as a missile intercept weapon. As for the rest, we have a couple of RBU-6000s. Now, if you are feeling creative, you can use these in an anti-surface role as well. So I might use the depth charge launcher, if you will, against a cargo ship. This cargo ship is going sort of escorted. I'm saying sort of, because yes, there are escorts. But right now, we are at a neutral relationship with NATO. We are not hostile to them yet. Now, considering that we're going to be getting here in about 3 hours and change, I kind of want to speed that up. So we're going to go to all ahead full. And I also have at my disposal an airbase. This airbase is a little overpowered for what I needed for the scenario, but at the moment, and this is as I'm recording it on October 15th, 2024, that is, there are not that many air bases in yet. So what do we have? We have a couple of MiG-17s, MiG-21s, MiG-23s, 25s, Su-15s, MiG-25 RBs, MiG-27s, we have Su-24s, we even have the Tu-16s. So if you want to, you can definitely go to town, and especially with anti-ship weaponry on the Tu-22, you can very easily strike this. This is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do. I want to use this airbase a little bit more as a sort of air cover position for my ships, should that need arise. For now, though, we're first going to send up a P-42RL-DN, which is an early warning aircraft. And with that aircraft, we should be able to start getting a bit more information about this group over here. Not these, strictly. I mean, these are just cargo ships. We know that these are friendly. They've already been visually identified by about 15 miles, so they're good to go. As you can see by the emissions, there's also something happening in the skies. The NATO forces have an AWACS up there over Turkey. And there is something else here, which is, well, somewhere within that ellipsis. So, yeah, it could be basically anywhere. Alright, let's wait for that P-42 to arrive and then have a go with its radar. A little later, our flight of 4 MiG-25 Foxbats is kind of running out of fuel just as they're getting to their assigned positions. These guys don't have that much fuel, and they are almost a little too fast for their own good. So as much as I wanted to have this flight kind of protecting my ships, they can't actually get there. It is too far of a flight, at least the way that I was treating these aircraft, which was just to have them cruise at their cruising altitude and then make it over here. But I guess 400 miles is a one-way trip for these aircraft, and they're gonna RTB pretty much now because they're running out of fuel. So let's get these guys returned to base. Unfortunate, because I really wanted to have these guys over here. So, orders, RTB. At this point, I will have to bring in other aircraft. Because unfortunately, these guys aren't quite going to be hanging around. I do have another flight, but they seem to have the same issue. This is a group of 420 MiG-21s, but they can't even get there. Even at 37,000 feet, they cannot get there. So apparently, the MiGs don't have that much range, which is a little disappointing. I thought they'd have a little bit more range than that. Maybe some floggers can do the job. Let's get a couple of floggers up there instead. As for the situation on the water here, there isn't that much to be told. We have gained quite a bit on that merchant group that we've seen before. We have identified another merchantman over there. And our P-42 is almost in position. I think we can start radaring right about now. Yeah, we're about 70 miles out. So let's turn our surface search radar on. Oh, hello. Suddenly everything gets populated. That's a lot of radar contacts. I have a chat with these guys. Neutral, neutral, neutral. 19 and 20 aren't responding. 15's responding. 14? Identify yourself. Neutral. Neutral. Okay, so far so good. These guys are outbound, so they're not the targets. Where is my target at? Let's get that bird getting a little closer. What do we have here? Oh, that's the other merchant. Okay, that's not that big of a problem then. As for my other flight, there's the MiG-25s returning home, there's the MiG-21s, well, kind of also returning home, because unfortunately they too cannot make it there. So RTB, and we'll wait for that next flight of MiGs, which is, yeah, it's kind of being brought into position, but as you can tell, this part of the game isn't quite ready yet. Some of the airfields still have to get redone, because they're just kind of driving wherever the hell they please, as opposed to lining up with the runways. So, yeah, let's not mind this too much. Okay, great. They can make it here. So you're going to patrol right about there and go there at 37,000 feet. In the meanwhile, 7022. I'm going to have the Komsomolets contact that. It does not want to talk. We're 23 miles out. Now, that means that I might be able to start opening up if I close in further with the main gun. Alternatively, I can send a missile at it, but these missiles also have a minimum range of 4 miles, so I have to keep that in mind. It's not like you can just race up to a target and dump one of those Styxes into their face. You're gonna have to get at least some standoff distance, or you won't actually be able to use anything. Let's also activate the air surge radar. That came up on the air search radar? Ah, okay. So what we have here is a Pegasus fast attack boat. These guys are quite dangerous for multiple reasons. They can be very quick. They can go up to 48 knots because they're hydrofoil boats. At, I think, current speed of 19 knots, I'm not sure if they'd go into hydrofoil mode like this. I don't think so. I think they need to go faster for that. As for their armament, they have 8 harpoons a pop. So between those 4 boats, that's a 30 plus harpoons that they can put into the air very quickly. For now, they're neutral. I'm going to keep a range circle on these guys to figure out if I'm in range of their weaponry or not. You, formation leader, your range is 65 miles. So please keep your damn missiles away from me. In case you're wondering, how do I know it's 65 miles? Well, I've played the game a bit, And I know that the RGM-84s have a range of 65 miles. So this is kind of hardwired into my brain at this point. If you don't know what a range is of a weapon, just click the unit card. So go over to unit reference and then click the unit card and it's going to say this has a range of, for example, 16 miles. This does mean that if it does come to shooting war with NATO, I will not be able to shoot these things with my Stixes without getting into range. By a lot. Because their 65-mile range kind of makes this look very bad. So that is potentially going to be a problem. Now, I can use aircraft from the airbase, but that's not really the goal of this scenario. Like, yes, if NATO does decide to start shooting, yes, I could bring the no, the Tu-142s, the Tu-22s with their anti-ship missiles, or even their anti-ship long-range loadout, or anti-ship heavy if you want to go with a couple more missiles, but that's not really what I want to do. That's not really in line with what I had in mind when I created this scenario. No, we have to engage a surface ship. We have to find the said surface ship, and we have to put it down. We are going to be arriving in about an hour 20, but I'm not seeing any more contacts here. So let's turn over to starboard and figure out what else is in those groups that we haven't fully identified yet. Unfortunately, these guys don't carry a helicopter. Now, it is possible for me to send this AWACS over and just have a slightly closer look at the situation. Maybe we can identify that surface ship that we're looking for, that cargo ship. I have a growing suspicion that it could be one of these unidentifieds, because not always do neutral contacts really want to talk. Sometimes they don't mind identifying themselves if they're a fisher boat. It is rather in their interests to identify themselves, but for example, of this, I don't know. There's another one, 1723 and 1725, but nobody wants to talk, unfortunately. Oh, we cannot even communicate with them. Interesting. Alright, gotta close the distance, gotta figure out who's who. Good news, bad news. The good news, we have found our target. This is not supposed to be the target, but I guess we'll just blow up the sampan. This is supposed to be a cargo ship. But okay, this time around it got rendered as a sampan. I'm not sure why. We're gonna hit that. That's the good news. We know where the target is. The bad news? They have friends. Or at least, they have potential friends. This is an Adams-class frigate. Sorry, an Adams-class destroyer even. They have Standard Missile 1s. They have RGM-84s, better known as harpoons. They, of course, have their guns. Behind them is a Garcia-class frigate. The Garcias are not as potent, but they're definitely no less dangerous with their Mark 46. Sorry, not with their Mark 46, with their Mark 30s, because they got a 12-mile range gun. And behind that is a Nox frigate. So we have all sorts of stuff, which is going to make this quite difficult. I have a few options, at least as I see it. I'm going to pause it here. We're kind of within, well, at minimum range of killing this thing off with the sampan. The moment that I shoot this, NATO is probably going to take offense. And we're only 6 miles away from that Adams. These Adams, with their harpoons, they do have a minimum range of 3.5. So, alternatively, I can have, for example, one ship close in and just try and do a gunfight with the Adams, and with the Garcia, and with the Nox. But this thing, one way or another, has to get knocked out. That's the goal. This has to get knocked out. I really have no idea why it was rendered as this, because when I plotted this mission in the editor, this is definitely not what I put in. But yeah, we have well, we have a visual identification. This is actually a sampan. Which, I mean, come on. Yeah, okay, it's a sampan, fine. My air cover, unfortunately, is not there. My MiG is already returning to base. It is on bingo fuel, so it's not like I can call in air support to try and deal with this. What I can also do is sacrifice all of these boats and just have the Komsomol let's go try and go back, so that at least I keep this ship alive. The problem is, yes, it does have some self-defense capabilities, but not that many. This ship is not that great at defending itself. It does not have a CWIS system. And while it does have the SAN-1, which it can use to intercept enemy missiles, well, we've seen that those Pegasi are not only very dangerous, but also in range. So if we're going to start shooting with NATO, it's entirely likely we'll start seeing 32 harpoons coming this way in a hurry. The question is, are they going to target me or any of these cargo ships? Because there are a lot of cargo ships around. I think I'm going to do something which is potentially going to draw the ire of a lot of you. I'm going to go in for a close range attack. It might not be entirely historically accurate, but again, if you want historical accuracy, go read a book. This is not what we do around here. I'm going to just have a little fun with these guns and see whether we have any chance in hell when we do that. I'm going to keep my ships very close together. At this point, I am assuming that NATO knows not only that I'm here, but also what I am. So with that in mind, I am going to assume that it's not very much of an issue to go hot on my radar, seeing as we're only 6 miles away, and we have this thing not only visually identified, we have it on radar. Yeah, we have it on radar because the Komsomolets was activating its radar every now and again, and we have, of course, have our flying aircraft, our flying radar dish here. And we have their emissions. Their active radar, but the other ones are not. Okay. The sampan should be very easy to kill. Not really that big of a deal. We're 1 mile out with the other ships. Yeah, we're very close. Because this ship might not have that much of a self-defense, but these guys do. They have a couple of very nice 30mm guns. 2 on the back. This does mean that I might need to shoot, turn around, and bring all the rest of my CWIS to bear the moment that those missiles start coming in. Because they will come in. Minimum range on the gun? No minimum range. Okay then. We're at 10 miles range of the Nox. Yeah. Okay then. I think it's time to go. Let's have the R624 turn around. Hello? Any particular thing you're doing or not doing? You'd think he'd be trying to fall into the formation, but I guess he's just not. Okay, fine. Leave the formation. Get a move on. Alright. This is it. We're going to open fire. At 2 miles range, we're going to open up against the sampan. With the guns. Engage. There goes the targeting radar. Firing. Shells out. They're splashing all around the sampan, but not actually... There we go, there's a hit. It looks ridiculous. This thing is supposed to be a cargo ship. Not a sampan like this. Oh well. I hope it gives you a good laugh when you look at it. It looks like my guns are not terribly accurate, shall we say? Good lord. I think it's a good thing we have 1200 rounds, because apparently we're having a lot of trouble trying to kill this thing off. Come on. Well, this is badly damaged. This is pretty ridiculous. Yes, it's a small target, but come on, we're 2 miles out. Not World War II. Although, maybe in World War II they were even more accurate than this. Seeing as this is proving to be ridiculously ineffective, I'm just going to use the RBUs. I mean, why not? This one has range. There you go. A bit of an unorthodox way of getting rid of one of these very small fishing boats. But hey, it's the RBU, and we're not that likely to use it against torpedoes anytime soon. No, if that's not a shot across the bow, I don't know what is. This thing is still doing 3 knots. That's kind of impressive, actually. There you go. It's come to a full stop. We've spent 300 rounds trying to hit this thing. Yeah, I'm gonna send this over to the devs because this amount of gunfire is getting ridiculous. We should have already long sunk a cargo or well, like a fishing ship like this. And every once in a while you're getting, yes, we've hit them. Yeah, I'd better hope so, because we fired 300 rounds at this target. It does look like they're going down. Cease fire. I am expecting this thing just to sink. And I might still need a few hundred shells, considering our accuracy, to deal with the atoms, which is just behind it. Now, NATO still hasn't decided to engage. That's good. But... come on, you were hit by a couple of 76mm projectiles. There you go. The NATO cargo ship, the Sampan, has been eliminated. Critical supplies destined for Georgia have been destroyed, significantly disrupting NATO's efforts in the region. Be advised. NATO forces in the area have detected the attack and are now turning hostile. Expect immediate retaliation from their escort vessels. Prepare for incoming engagements from NATO frigates and fast attack boats, as well as potential air support. Maintain defensive posture and engage enemy forces as necessary to protect your fleet. Air support standing by will be deployed upon your request. Exercise caution. Civilian traffic remains in the area. Indeed, it does. Now, we now need to retreat our ships to that retreat position, which is all the way over there. Unfortunately, we now have a couple of very annoyed Pegasi, as well as a couple of very annoyed NATO warships here. So at this point, I just want to start dumping all my missiles at the various targets. So we're going to go and engage the Nox. I'm going to have everybody activate their surface search radar. So, formation orders, activate your surface search. The Komsomolets itself can activate its air search as well. I want you to engage the Nox. I want you to engage the Garcia. I want to have you engage the Adams. I want to have you engage the Adams as well. This is going to turn into a heck of a mess. There's one. Two. You can bet your Adam. Yeah, there we go. The Adams is turning around. There's their own gunfire. I'm going to tell my formation that they're weapons free. Don't mind that falls under air orders. I really hope that they're not going to slam themselves into a friendly, or a neutral rather. Oh, we're engaging with the SAN-1s. Interesting. Unfortunately, it looks like at least one, if not several, of the Styxes are getting fooled by all of that chaff. Just coming up from the Garcia. Not all of it, though. We might have one hit. Hit. Garcia's dead. Nox? Nox is trying to defend itself. There's a lot happening at the moment. There's a Rim 7 coming in. There's a hit. Potentially 2 hits. 3? We do have a couple of SAN-1s going off track here. This Rim 7 is no longer a threat. How's the Adams doing? The Adams is looking pretty shit. Nox is ablaze. Not returning fire anymore. Good. Still landing shells more or less around the Nox. But the Nox is still returning fire. We have taken some hits on the R-26. Moderate hull damage, slight flooding. This does not bode very well. You're fine. You're fine. And you're fine, at least for now. What's the status on those Pegasus? They're holding position. For now. Interesting. Come on, can we knock them out? You still have a couple of your missiles left. It had a what? A maximum range of what? 42 miles? 43. Okay. Engage that track. They're just in range, supposedly. But for some reason, they're not eager to engage yet. This thing has ceased fire. Listing over to starboard, pretty bad. Very good. As for that ship of mine, it's gone. R-26 is no longer there. Can we use these SEN-5s against surface targets? No, we cannot. Unfortunate. Okay. We've expended about half our ammunition for the 76mm. New radar contact. That is something traveling at 900 knots, doing 37,000 feet. Okay, we even have the ship identified now. It's the Richard E. Byrd. I'm kind of surprised that the crew is just casually standing around here. Garcia, eliminated. Good. Ceasefire. Weapons tight. Try to get back. Oh wow, we're now popping missiles as well. Oh, and there's why. The harpoons are airborne. The harpoons are airborne. Formation. Changing orders. Once again, full weapons free. Defend yourself with everything you have. And on this cliffhanger, I'm going to leave you until the next video. The shooting has begun. Missiles are in the air. And it looks like NATO might take some casualties early. But of course, they still have those Pegasi all the way in the back. And if those harpoons start coming my way, well, it's anybody's guess how well I'm going to be able to do to shoot those things down. Join me next time for the second part of this video. If you're a channel member, you can already see the video right away. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon for more.